What is up, guys? Focus back with another video. Going to give you guys a summation on what's going on with the marketplace and a plan per usual. We'll do a little bit of quick analysis on a couple of coins, talk about the market direction, and put together a bit of a plan. So let's go ahead and let's jump into these charts, guys. Lots been going on. Whoops, get this back up here. Lots been going on. So yeah. This is Ethereum. Let's go to Bitcoin. We're going to start with Bitcoin first. I've said it 2 times, lots has been going on, but it really has been, lots going on. We just had a pretty solid dip down to 28. We've tapped liquidity here on this white line where we have strong support, where it had tapped that same white line going back to January 3rd. Okay. So January 3rd, right? Like that was, right after Bitcoin had busted through the 20K bubble. I shouldn't say bubble, just the 20K resistance where our previous all-time high had been at. We had kind of started to run up, towards 20. And it wasn't really until, I think right around, December 15th, we burst through. Okay. And then on January 3rd was, one of the first big dip candles we had post that rip, right? Like we went from right down here at the bottom of this red box, we went from 15 and shot all the way up to 21 or 22-ish, 23-ish before we had it, even a 10% dip, which 10 was nothing. But then after the 10% dip, then we shot from 24 up to 42. Okay. And then 42 actually had a pretty substantial dip down to 30. And then we revisited after that. We revisited this white line again before we shot from 28 up to the final, current all-time high of about $64,000. Basically a 2x from that spot. So pretty heavy resistance here. I mean, pretty heavy support here that has been given some good reactions. I mean, when it bounced off this, it immediately shot 28 to 42. When it bounced off this down here, it immediately shot 29 to 58. Okay. On the other side of that, we're kind of distributing out right now. There's not really accumulation going on. And the distribution of coins is taking place. So you see, the burst up, lots of resistance, and then boom, we're just going down. Couple of things to look out for here. Like this kind of has meme potential. Like we've already seen it a little bit. Actually, let me get rid of that dot and draw for you guys, kind of what I'm talking about here. When I say meme potential, we all know what a head and shoulders are. If you're watching this, you've probably seen a head and shoulders formation, at least on examples, or they don't always play out, right? Like a lot of times they're the type of formation that, a lot of people look for, and then it just doesn't trade out. Like it kind of trades the opposite, or it just stalls. It's not always, the context, I should say, is not always right for the pattern, because, in trading, context is everything. Context of the market, the situation. And to me, the context is fitting around this meme, which is why I don't, which is one of the reasons I don't really like where we're at. I mean, memes have been playing out, and right now we are absolutely in a bearish trend. We've absolutely broke the parabolic rise. I think I can show you the parabola. Where's that at? A tool at the parabola. Basically, what it is it's the upward trend motion. I'm trying to find the tool that shows I can't really find it. It's kind of frustrating, but basically it would look like this. Something like that. Okay, and so going up that purple line is where we are going. That's the That's the parabolic rise, meaning we're just going up, right? Like no resets. And this is what you see in a bull market, right? You see a parabolic rise. You know, I could move this over a little bit, and we could argue that this is a starting point, this is the tipping point, and that it broke that parabolic rise, which it did. I mean, it broke through. Like, and when we break through parabolic rises in historical context, we're done. It doesn't mean it's not going back. It just means there's, you know, we're kind of cyclically done right now. So when you talk about the parabolic rise being broke, you talk about the bear market kind of coming into play right now. We're not making higher highs here, like lower high. That's the highest high, right? Where my mouse is. Okay. Lower high right here. All right. Lower high right here. All right. Even if we go up here and make a higher high here, we still have to beat out 59K to improve this candle. Like, we dropped, guys, 59 to 30. All right. So for us to engulf that candle, we need to shoot the hell up and get back in the parabolic trend. And to be honest with you, I'm not seeing it. I'm just seeing us continuing this meme. I think we're going to fulfill this meme. My last video, I kind of talked about a V recovery. We kind of saw one. Like, it almost went down like I drew, right? I had it going a little bit lower to the like 23, 24 region down here, but it kind of V'd out. Let me zoom in for you guys. Right here, it kind of V'd out, kind of. Keyword being kind of, because it didn't finish the V. Like, the V would have taken us back up to 42 rather quickly. So I'm not a fan of us being done. And then if you look at where we could be going with this market, you know, this red box to me is just like a daggum magnet. You know, at the top of the red box, we have the 20K all-time high. Okay. 20K all-time high going back to 2018 cycle. The bottom of the red box, we're at the 16 range. This red box, in my opinion, is a great blocker. And below it, to me, is where, like, you know, I shove all in. You know, we've got a pretty big SR right here. This white line I'm showing you guys, and it's at 12.5. This goes back to last June. It goes back to June of 2019, guys. Big SR. Big bump up against. You know, we bumped up against it 1, 2, 3. Then we accumulated 4, 5, 6 bump ups in a roughly 14-month period, and then exploded through. All right. Wouldn't be surprised for me to see us kind of bang down into this range and do a little bit of this. Let me show you. Let me get my draw out. Show you what I'm seeing. Wouldn't surprise me for us to kind of do what we're doing right here. A little back, a little up, and a little boom. Retest, and then dump. Okay. Dump in here. Then we're back. And we're kind of just ranging, etc. Going on until around December. Actually, let me take this back. So, well, you get the point. Right around December, which is here, I would expect kind of like a start, maybe even November, maybe off this one in November, start to kind of rise back up through there. I don't think we're out for a long time, guys. I think this is pretty similar to, the double top we saw. God, us like 2013, I think 2013 it was. And we essentially had like a 6-month off period, right? Like, we had 6 months off and then we joined back in. I don't think this is done. Like, you just look at math, comparisons. All right, so we'll go back. Like, okay, well, that's going to be the next point I'm making, which I should probably actually follow off right now. So, okay, so I showed you this. This is basically where it comes from, like this type of stuff. Like, this is what we had, guys, in 2017 to 2019. Okay. Look at that chart, right? And look at this Bitcoin chart. It's up and it's breaking down, like, and it's going to go down through here and then it's going to go back up. This stuff's cyclical. It's very similar. This turned out to be the top. I mean, it just is what it is, yeah, I wish I sold the top 65 for sure. But, I was kind of going for the 2018 trend where I thought we had one more run up to 120 which would have kind of put the math in the same growth spaces as the previous trends. But that doesn't mean it goes on the path you want, right? Like price gets to where you're predicting majority of the time. The problem is the path and the time. And the path and the time variate to the point where you get frustrated and you get out. You don't believe in yourself. You don't have conviction. So, I mean, I still feel pretty good about this around December, January. Right now, I don't though. And right now, honestly, the way I'm playing Bitcoin is I'm shorting. If I see a run up to 42 right here, I'm going to be shorting this. We're not, in my mind, we're not Ving out of this right here, in my mind. Now, don't get me wrong. If I saw, here, we'll get rid of all these squigglies. So don't get me wrong. If I saw a V out that looked something like this, let's get this brush. We've gone down here, but if I saw a V out that kind of went up, up through, impulse retest, shoot back up. Yeah, okay. Now we're talking, right? Like this is a quick V out rebound. And if you zoomed out, like let's say we look back at this in December, let's say it does this, and then we look back at this in October, you'd be like, yo, that was only April to September, right? Like we basically took the summer off and it was a big engulf, and then things would resume. That's a trend I would be cool for. If I saw this and I saw this rip through and I saw this retest right here where I'm circling my mouse would be where I would buy on the retest with a tight stop in case it dumped back down. And then if it stopped out, I'd be in a short expecting, 20. But it's kind of where we're at, guys. The Pravel has been broken. Bitcoin is in a bit of a bear market, so trade accordingly. I'm not buying dips right now. Like if you're buying dips, you're buying dips for a 5-year plan. Okay, like your spot dips, your long-term dips. Those are dips you can buy. But if you're trading right now, you're not buying dips to long. Like you're just not doing it. I mean, you need more confirmation right here. The confirmation is just not there yet that we're going to be going up and continuing to going up. Right now, our going ups are just people liquidating their long positions and shorting it and feeding it up so that they can short it back down. So that's where Bitcoin's at. It's not in a terrible place. It's in a pretty good place, I think personally, and I'm happy with where it's at in terms of I feel like we can make a strategy for it. We've got 2 areas where we really think of what it's going to do. If I want to make fun of myself, I'm basically saying it can go up or it can go down, right? Like that's pretty hilarious, basically what I'm saying. But it's the way that it can go up and it's the way that it can go down that we need to be looking for in order to play it properly. Spots into this red box, I'm longing. Okay, first long. It's my first Bitcoin spot long where I will buy. Actually, that's not true. I just told a lie. I would consider buys for first buys, right? In this first blocker box of 25 to 22, I would consider one buy there. Okay. I think that's a decent place to consider buys, but the main blocker is here. And that's where I would consider my first, scaled up buys. If it gets down to this white line, yeah, we're shoving all in, guys. Yeah, we're all in. The world would think Bitcoin died if that's the case, which it would be kind of funny because that would mean it had shot up to 60 and kind of returned to its previous mean, which is what Bitcoin does a lot of times. So it would be very normal. All right. So when we talked about Bitcoin, I can pull up this chart and it's not that much different, right? Like it's not that much different than this chart. Doesn't have as much as a defined head and shoulders. It actually has more of a head and shoulders that's kind of played out, like with this being one small shoulder, this being the head, and this being another small shoulder, and then it just dropping down. I'll draw that so y'all can see what I'm talking about, because a lot of times things are in my head. It's hard to see. Shoulder, shoulder, drop down. Okay, so that's like what we were looking at with ETH. ETH looks weak, guys. ETH does not look strong in any shape, form, or fashion. To me, this liquidity wick down to our beautifully drawn white line, which is continually getting action. Look at that. It's a great SR. Down there. This is a great liquidity wick. Like we dipped into liquidity and kind of swept this low. Terrible response. It basically just went to the top of the range and got shit on. I mean, that's not what you wanted, right? Like you wanted the liquidity to hit and then for us to shoot up like to 26. That's a rebound. That's like, I haven't even spoken on volume. Follow my mouse real quick and let's go down to the volume. Where's the green volume, guys? This is the green volume, right? This is the green volume. This is the green volume. We don't have volume. And then the volume we have is sell pressure after a dip. Like I should have seen this red candle be followed by a green candle like this. We didn't. That is not bullish. I need to see Ethereum clear 26.53 before I even consider us being any type of bullish. Right now, it's just a short on pumps. I mean, this thing is incredibly range bound, and some people could argue it's about to be into a new range, kind of down towards the previous all-time high. Now, again, ETH went 3x off its previous all-time high. Guys, that's not what these coins do in cycles. They don't go 3x. They go a lot more than that. So, kind of same trends as I picked with Bitcoin. Either V's up right now and takes 26 in the next month or two, and then we just engulf this whole side on the higher time frames and continue upwards, or we're just running a resistance and short down into these spots. Positive, I guess, is that there's a lot of resistance in here between 1,000 and 1,400. And I would not be surprised at all to see wicks down into that. I mean, I think the lowest you're going is down right around here in the 900 range. I think that's kind of like, I had an all-in range with Bitcoin. I think that's kind of my all-in range with ETH. Let me draw this box over a bit to match it. This is kind of it right here. That's 887 to 1100. I'm shoving pretty hard in that spot. Whether we get to it or not is a good question, but if it does, that's kind of similar to the red box here with Bitcoin. These are buys, and they wouldn't surprise me if we play at this price action at some point. So, just going to run through these real quick because I don't want to go on this video too long, just to show some weakness. Like this is either a perfect double bottom that Link is now going to rebound 70% on and start to engulf. As you can see, it shoved down 70%. Or we're going down further, guys. Like, I mean, these lines right here are your SRs. Like, this is a huge SR, $8. I mean, it's not out of realm. I mean, it's $18. You lose 50 more % of it. Like that happens and does happen with these charts all the cycles with altcoins. So again, just pretty bearish, maybe Link gets a bounce up to here to around 24, and then I'd probably short it again. I would need this recovery to be pretty strong with volume. This is actually cool. Like there's a nice green candle here. We actually saw that there. There's not one on ETH. So there's some solid buying, which is great. It's probably why it, wicked so hard from 14 into 18. It's a pretty big jump, about 30%, but still, it's just, we're not buying altcoins right now to hold at all. And this is Doge. Guys, I literally made a video right here before Saturday Night Live and told you to sell. And I told you like exactly why to sell. And I gave you really good reasons why this is just not a good spot to be in. And here we are. Doge died, got slapped. Man, it's not showing any signs of recovery right now. It's just lower high after lower high after lower high. So lower high, lower high. I expect another lower high here and a further dump down. Like first of all, you're not going to see me buying Doge, except for if it gets to here. Okay. If it gets back to there, I'm in. It's 1 cent. Where's that 1 cent? That's 10 cents. That's 10 cents. It gets down to 10 cents, I'm in. I'll give it a shot at 10 cents. That's kind of like the SR from where it was on its first run. You know, it started January when it started doing crazy things. That's where it topped out. So that's a pretty good SR. I think it's a decent spot to put in some bids, and that's where I would go. I mean, that's about it, though. I mean, you're not going to mess with Doge. The thing is if it doesn't hold this 10, it's back to its old cycle, and its old cycle, guys, is under a cent. So 70 cents to 1 cent. Yeah. Be smart, be safe out here. Okay, guys. Kind of my analysis with Bitcoin, where I'm at, what I'm thinking about these markets, where we're going. I hope that's helpful for you, and we'll keep the videos coming. Always comment, hit that like and subscribe. Leave me some messages. I'll be glad to interact with you. Focus with another video. Thanks, guys.